Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me again. I do appreciate you guys and ladies. So today we're just going to talk about some lessons learned that I've found out about having a Victory motorcycle. So once again, this is my 2015 Victory Magnum Cross Country. It's a really nice bike. I like it a lot. I've had it for a few years. I'll never get rid of this bike, of course, unless I don't have a choice. But I really do like this bike. But the lessons that I've learned, the first lesson I've learned is from a previous Victory I had is never mess with the air idler valve. Don't ever do it. I messed with that thing once, and for those of you who have Victories, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's an air idler valve assembly just located just under the tank of the bike on your right hand side. And don't ever touch that thing. I don't care what anyone tells you, how good of a mechanic they tell you that they are. Don't ever touch it. I touched that damn thing once, and it screwed my bike up. I had a highball, and it was a mistake. Don't ever do that. It took forever. Even the mechanics at the dealership had a hard time. It took them like 3 days to fix it, to make it right, and then when they did fix it, it still wasn't right, so we just had to order the part all over again, a brand new one that hadn't been touched, get it installed on the bike, which was a pain in the ass. So never ever touch the air idler valve on your Victory motorcycles, ever. Don't do it. The other lesson learned is make sure you get the right highway bars. Now the highway bars on this bike, I like them a lot. You know, they have that compact look. They're not rounded. You know, they look really nice. I do like them. But I do kind of sort of kick myself a little bit for not getting the regular rounded highway bars. Because the regular rounded highway bars, it's easier to put lights on them. The airflows, of course, I mean, if mine are closed, of course, you know, because I have speakers in that area and I have vents, you know, to run air along the side of the bike. But you know, they're more open. It's easy to get air to the bike, and you can put other accessories. You can put the Tour Pack accessories for the highway bars on the regular rounded highway bars, but these forged highway bars, you can't do it. So it's one of the things I kind of wish that I would have not put on my bike and put a different type of bar on the bike. But it is what it is. I still like them. They're really strong. You don't have to worry about, you know, if you lay the bike down and bending or anything, because, I mean, the forged are really, really strong. The other thing I learned about the bike that is a lesson learned is don't mess with the stereo. Now, I'm a stereo guy. I'm really good at getting in there and messing around stereo, putting my own amplifiers and decks and whatever. I can pretty much do all kinds of things, and I even build my own speaker boxes. But what I learned about the Victory motorcycle stereo, the stock stereo, if you have it on there, leave it alone. Just leave it on there. Don't mess with it, because their stereos on the Victories are super temperamental. I fought for, I don't know, for the longest, you know, messing with the stereos on the bike, changing it, and every time I do something to the stereo on this bike, there's always a problem. Something happens. It's either cutting off all the time, or there's always something wrong. And I've had this bike, I've gone over it for grounds, I've taken it to professionals who are better than I am, who've tried to fix the issue. They have no clue what's wrong with it. So I finally did end up getting fixed by just replacing all of the wiring for the stereo, putting in my own deck, replacing all the wiring for the speakers, putting better grounds on the bike. It was a mess. It's been years in the making, but it's a mess. Please, whatever you do not mess with the stock stereo. If you got a stock stereo, leave it in there. You can do add-ons for whatever you want, amplifiers, that's fine, but just don't mess with the stock stereo or the stock wiring on the bike. The other lesson learned is that if you're going to keep the key for your bike, that's fine. If you like sticking a key in and out, like I didn't like that, so I changed and I got a keyless ignition put on my bike. Great, it works fantastic. It's got a good range on it. The only bad thing is that sometimes, you know, if you're not extra careful, the bike can be started up to about 40 feet away, and it can ride off. So I had to make sure and put a kill switch extra in there to make sure that my bike doesn't just leave without me. So if you're going to change to I think it's called a watchdog or something like that. If you're going to change to a wireless security to where you don't need you just have a fob and not a key, you don't have to stick a key in the side of the bike, make sure you get something to make sure that someone can't steal your bike. Also, I have a tracking system on my motorcycle. I have 2 tracking systems on my motorcycle just in case someone tries to steal it. So I do suggest you buy a tracking system for your bike as well. The last thing that's a lesson learned about this bike is lowering the bike. The bike looks really cool when it's lowered. I have a spring and a shock with an adjustable coilover type shock on my bike, so it's really good. I like it. It rides well. It absorbs the bumps quite well. The only issue is I think I probably should have, just because it's really cool, but I wish I would have done it, was to do an air shock on my bike, which may come in the future, I don't know. But that's the one lesson learned I wish I would have done. Instead of just getting the regular shock with, adjustable shock and whatnot, is to go with an air suspension type shock. That's something I wish I would have had, because it makes it a lot easier when you're riding the bike to adjust things, instead of having to lift the bike, put a bike on the lift, and go in and mess around with tools to try to adjust the adjustable shock. You can just have a fob, so that you can raise and lower the bike. So that's a lesson. Those are the lessons learned that I had to learn having this bike. Other than that, the bike is phenomenal. It looks great. It's got a lot of nice features on it that I've put on the bike myself over the years. It runs great. Haven't had a problem with it, and it's basically bulletproof. So those are my lessons learned about having a Victory. I'll make sure and put more lessons learned and things that I've learned as far as a long-term review of this bike, which will be coming up soon, so that I can let you guys know all the things that I've gone through with this bike and how the good, the bad, and the ugly about the Victories. So that'll be coming up most likely next week. Please make sure and tune in so that I can give you guys the information. So have a great day. Please be safe out there, and don't forget, make sure you keep it under 100, but if you cannot keep it under 100, remember, it is your ticket and you will have to pay it. So have a great day.